After an epic NFL draft crash out, is it time for Mel Kiper to hang it up? This is Way Offsides. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Spring has sprung, and the 2025 NFL draft has come and gone with much drama. And we all know drama makes for good television. It makes for good storylines. And we just love it. The NFL draft was full of sliding quarterbacks, prank phone calls, all sorts of craziness, things that we all typically love. But I think what took the cake was the ultimate and epic crash out by analyst Mel Kiper. Now, we all know Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper has been working to predict NFL draft selections for years. He has given us his big boards and said, this person's going to go here, this person's going to go there after extensive evaluation. And usually he's not far off. It's pretty credible most of the time. But he was wrong. Really, really wrong this week. And he didn't take it very well at all. Hey, what are you doing right now? You know, you're watching me, but what are you doing? What are you doing with your thumb? And my guess is you've got your phone up, your pinky finger slung up under there, your thumb's ready to scroll. Do me a favor, take that thumb and hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell, leave a like on this video. Leave a comment when we're done here today. This is a pretty fun topic, and I'm sure everybody's got a lot of opinions, so I want to hear them. Tell me. Working on a new intro. As you can see there, I still suck at this camera thing. But anyway, new intro, comments will be part of that. Best comments will make the new intro video. So, Mel Kiper. So for those of you who, I don't know, don't have social media, living under a rock, only follow sports as they're being played live, whatever the case is, Shedeur Sanders, beloved quarterback out of Colorado, fresh off of having his jersey retired, slid down draft boards. I mean, he avalanched down them. It was pretty aggressive. It was pretty hard to watch at certain points in time. But because of this unsurmounted slide in where he was going to be drafted, his name took over pretty much all talk surrounding the NFL draft. We're still talking about it. It got to a point to where, Cam Ward goes number 1 overall, and nobody's talking about that. Everybody, all the talking heads are talking about Shedeur Sanders. Nick Saban goes on a rant saying that he's tired. He wishes they would stop talking about where he's going to be drafted and talk about the opportunity he has to go do something great, blah, blah, blah. Being Nick Saban, as we all know and love. But then a very upset Mel Kiper gets up to the podium along with Reese Davis and some others, and he takes on Reese Davis. You all know Reese Davis, University of Alabama graduate from College Game Day. And Kiper just loses his ever-loving mind. Just came unglued. He was extremely upset because he had Shedeur going very high in the draft. Shedeur dropped way down. Way down there. And the reasons are pretty obvious. If you go on social media and look it up, you're going to get a lot of, well, he dropped because he's black, this and that. Well, a black guy went first overall. So that's completely, immediately erroneous and stupid. He went because he has a very bad attitude. And there were some things leaked going into the draft about his interviews and how he carried himself, what he was doing in interviews, and how NFL execs, of course, anonymous NFL execs, were very cautious about him. And so he became a risk. So what do you do when something's a risk? If you're still planning on purchasing it, using it, right? You want it for a cheaper price because you don't want to spend this much money on it and it break or not work out. And the same thing applied to Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback where he fell in this class. The risk outweighed him being a first round pick. And it's not like it was just one NFL program that felt this way. There were many who had an opportunity to take him early on. The Browns end up doing it, but they could have taken him in the first round. A lot of people thought they would. Then it was almost a certainty. Oh, he's going to go in the second round. He didn't. He just kept falling. But Kiper ignores all of that and gets on stage and tells everyone how these NFL coaches and these GMs are idiots, basically, and don't know how to evaluate the quarterback position. I think he called them buffoons or something like that. They don't know how to evaluate the quarterback position. They haven't known how to do it for 50 years. Specifically, he said 50 years. Well, in that 50 years, we've seen some pretty damn good quarterbacks come out of the NFL. I mean, one right off the top of my tongue is Tom Brady. So somebody went down there and got him. He was a risk coming out of college. He went, what, 5th, 6th round, something like that. He was a risk. Nobody made a big stink when he went. When he went that low, nobody lost their mind. Nobody got on ABC screaming and yelling at Reese Davis. And kudos to Reese Davis, first and foremost, because Reese stood his ground. I like Reese Davis. I've always liked Reese Davis, not just because he's a UA guy, just because, the guy he just seems like an all-around good dude. And Reese didn't back down from the fight, man. Like, he straight up, he went head-to-head with Mel Kiper, and he won. In my opinion, at least. Now, there was plenty of situations in which, maybe talent isn't being evaluated correctly. We see that all the time with these big On3, 247 rivals, these big college recruiting agencies, evaluating these kids coming out of high school, and the rankings adjust, and it's always fluctuating. Well, the same thing could apply to the NFL, but based off of what everybody was hearing, whether it's substantiated or not, out of the interview processes, it seemed like most people were very hesitant about taking Shedeur Sanders. And it showed up in the draft. Now, me personally, I know a lot about football. I know a lot about the inner workings of football. But I'm not going to say that I know more than somebody who's spending millions of dollars on a quarterback. Like, they have an evaluation process in place. They have a way to evaluate a person to find out, first of all, their worth, what they're willing to invest in the person, a cost analysis, right? And then secondly, if they're going to work in the system. And then thirdly, how much their value is long-term. I would imagine every one of these draft picks, especially first, second, third rounds, those analyses are probably done. They're at least part of the consideration into who we're going to go get with our first round pick. Unless you just know you need a quarterback and you've got to go get Cam Ward. Something else that nobody's talking about, this was a very underwhelming draft class, especially at the quarterback position. No offense to Cam Ward, congratulations, but you stick him in a different draft class, he doesn't go number 1 overall. He doesn't. You stick Jackson Dart in another draft class, he doesn't go in the first round. Like, it's just an underwhelming class. And there are a lot of people, I think, that folks didn't really know what to do with because it just wasn't that great of a draft class. Next year is going to be the same thing at wide receiver. Now, that following draft class, there's going to be some studs in there. But I think at this point, Mel Kiper has to really consider, first of all, he made an ass of himself on live television. Not only that, he tried to make an ass out of Reese Davis and he lost. So I think Mel Kiper really has to either issue a public apology or take a step back and decide whether this is what he should be doing moving forward. A lot of these people that have been doing this for a long time, they don't see what's happening in the sport. It is rapidly, we've done so many videos on this. It is rapidly evolving. The quarterback position has been ever changing for 15 years. It's morphing. And it's different. There's a reason that people thought Jalen Milroe could go in the first round. Like, let's be honest, he's not the best throwing quarterback in this draft. But because of how the position is changing, folks thought he still had a legitimate shot at the first round. These are highly educated folks with ends to big-time franchises. So these old heads they're not thinking towards the future. They're thinking based off of what they've done in the past. That doesn't work. That doesn't work anymore. So Mel, you adapt or get out, man. You can't be on live TV, national TV, crashing out on Reese Davis. You guys took 3-day event and made it about Shedeur Sanders and Shedeur Sanders only. There are guys having the biggest moments of their lives, and every 30 seconds, well, Shedeur Sanders hasn't drafted yet. No, we know. You won't stop talking about it. And no wonder Reese Davis got irritated. That's all they wanted him to talk about. You had some great stories right there in the first round. Some amazing stories. There's one recruit, I can't remember who it is, but God bless him. As soon as he got drafted to the Steelers, his mother passed away. You probably didn't see that story because all that was being talked about was Shedeur freaking Sanders. Because guys like Mel Kiper can't handle being wrong. They can't handle not being the authoritative voice. Dude, just because you're the loudest person in an argument, it doesn't make you right. It just makes you emotional. Logic beats emotion every time. Just saying. Anyhow, tell me what you think, guys. Should he hang it up? Should he try to adapt moving forward? Or is it over for old Mel Kiper Jr.? We love each and every one of you. Thanks for hanging out with us. You guys are the best. Seriously, like the freaking best. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.